bar, but it also tells me that we're live. So sometimes I get it and sometimes I don't. But I think we're live. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Shiplife TV, the show that is dedicated to raising awareness of the opportunity of working on cruise ships and helping new and existing crew have an enjoyable experience. I am one of your hosts. My name is Jordan, and this is another one of your hosts,
Carlota.
So today we're going to be talking about a couple different things. I definitely want to talk about news, interesting things that are in the cruise world, but I feel like cruise news is very, it's taken. So
Yeah.
so I came up with the cruise bulletin,
Oh yeah, like the bulletin board.
like on the I-95. Yeah.
Where you put all your birthdays, and then they put the ugly picture of your card there.
Boom. Yeah. The one that they squish.
I know they
They make it all
squish or they
weird.
strash. Oh. pet
Anyway, if you
peeves.
guys are, if you're new, what we typically do is, oh, what's up, Twesty? Good to see ya.
Hi.
If you guys are new, what we tend to do here on this channel, typically on Sundays, most Sundays, I still haven't gotten down to every Sunday, but we're working on it.
Soon enough.
It's we try to do a Q&A session, and most times I have a guest. Today there's no guest.
Just me.
Yeah, just us. Well,
You're my guest.
I'm her guest. But today we're going to be talking about a couple different things. I came across some articles today, and I wanted to share them with you guys because I think they're important to the cruise industry. I have not shared them with my wife yet, and so it's going to be news for her. I haven't read all the way through these articles, but without further ado, let's jump into the first article here, which is Royal Caribbean. Let me go into this right here. So, Royal Caribbean Group introduces electronic safety drill to avoid cruise ship crowds.
How's that gonna work?
Yeah, how's that going to work? Well, let's take a look. And this is a very recent article. It was as of July 24th, 2020. So it says here, a staple of cruising, the muster drill, is getting a makeover in the COVID-19 era with individualized electronic technology developed by Royal Caribbean Group. So those of you who don't know what the muster drill is, every cruise on embark day, the first day of the cruise, all of the guests have to go through what's called a muster drill. And it's essentially a emergency drill that shows you where to go in the case of an emergency. Most of the crew have to participate in this as well, unless you work like food and beverage services or something like that. You work in the galley or whatever. But basically, all the crew, they have assigned muster station. I keep wanting to say mustard.
You want a sandwich?
Yeah, I want a sandwich. They have assigned muster stations, and
Master stations.
no, it's muster.
What?
Muster station. It's a
No
muster
way.
drill. Yeah.
No
It says
way.
it right here. Yeah. Muster drill. So it's
No.
yes, it's muster, not mustard.
What?
Yeah, you didn't know that?
No, I always had like master station.
No.
But
No.
what?
Master refers to the captain of the ship. He's the master of the ship. So anyway, regardless, it's just a big drill that happens on the first day of every cruise. But let's keep going.
Huh.
Basically what happens is everybody gathers in their muster stations. One of the biggest ones is the theater, but sometimes they're in different venues of the ship. But as you can imagine, people are gathered, they're packed pretty tightly. So they want to try to avoid that in the COVID-19 days. And are you guys seeing it? Is that? Oh yeah, it goes smaller and then it goes bigger. Okay, so Muster 2.0, as they call it, will replace the safety drill where passengers generally gather in large groups at different points around the ship, with a process that cruisers can complete their own on their own time before the ship sails. Which, right off the bat, I think that's a really good idea.
Wait, so they're gonna go to their cabins and do the master station?
Muster station. It's like mustard, but without the D.
Yeah, but it's.
But well, I don't know. Maybe they can even do it before they even get on the ship.
But so they're going online and do it?
Yeah, it looks like there's an app.
Oh, okay.
Let's keep going. because I'm sure this will answer a lot of questions, and we're just jumping ahead. The website is called cruisecritic.com. So continuing on here, it says, known as e-muster, the process starts with passengers reviewing safety information either on their own mobile devices or on their in-stateroom interactive TVs. These electronic briefings include what to expect during an during an emergency, and where to go. There's a typo in there. As well as the proper way to use life jackets. That's interesting. So the answer is they can either watch the muster drill on their phone or in their cabin. People then visit their assigned assembly stations where crew members verify that all steps have been completed and scan the passenger's key card to complete the process. Let's see. All of the steps must be finished before the ship sets sail to comply with international maritime safety laws. The law requires cruise lines take a hard line with muster drill completion. Every passenger must be checked off as having gone through the briefing before the ship is allowed to leave port. So that's a really big thing. If you guys didn't know this, every single passenger has to do this, and in each muster station, what happens is there's usually a person with a clipboard marking off who comes into the muster station, and then they report it on a walkie-talkie to the bridge, and the bridge will then mark off the numbers. So how many do you have in muster station A? We have 342, whatever. And then if there are discrepancies, so for example, if in muster station A there's supposed to be 360 and they're now missing 18 people, they now have to go through the list. And so what they'll even do, I've seen in the theater, that's always where my muster station was. They'll go to the theater and start announcing staterooms, saying 1346. Actually, that's pretty low for a 5467. So they'll start announcing people, and then they'll have to like wave them down, and then if you're one of the crew that's kind of standing around making sure that everybody's seated and in an orderly fashion, you'll have to call them out like, oh, they're over here.
I think that's been changed since we were on Celebrity. Because I guess because in Norwegian, that was my last contract. They had like a little majiggy, like a little thingy, and scanned a scanner. Yeah,
I like your word better.
It scans the card, and then it was, and then afterwards,
that's definitely
it's
a better
same,
way of doing it.
It's the same idea. Like if somebody's missing, they report whatever. But like even for
that's smarter
for crew.
That's definitely smarter.
It even showed that if you're in Port Manny or not.
Oh, interesting. Yeah. Well, I mean, when you try to leave the ship.
Yeah.
And it'll show up.
I just thought it was cool.
That they're moving forward. Cruise ships are finally moving forward. It's taken them a while, but they're slowly getting there.
We just got told that now the key is the same A pass. And it has a chip, so no demagnetizing.
Right. So, as an aside, Daily Jeeper, thank you for this. He's a regular. But he was the one that ended up telling me that they've changed some things on the ship, at least on Royal Caribbean, that they used to have magnetized cards, kind of like kind of like one of those older credit cards. And so the way that worked is you would slide it into your cabin room like a hotel key.
Yeah.
But because they were such cheap cards, the magnetization strip was easily demagnetized. So people like her, she would get locked out of her cabin almost all the time because things like magnets and cell phones could demagnetize those cards. Luckily, they've moved to RFID chips on the cards. So now, if you guys are familiar with the new credit cards, they have a chip in there, and sometimes you can't even slide the card. You have to input the chip if it's a chip. So now they've moved toward that on the ships. So you don't have to worry about demagnetization on those, and your ship ID also serves as a room card. So you access your room that way.
You know what the problem is now?
What's the problem with that?
if you lose it, you lose everything.
That's true. Yeah, because you also load money onto that card as well.
Exactly. And how you how you gonna know that your thing is missing until you're gonna actually go to your room or pay something?
Well, but it's all account based. If you lose your card, you can.
No, I know. I'm just talking because people like me lose it all the time.
Well, then you got to go back and pay like $5 to $10 for a new one. It probably costs like $15 now. What's up, Guillermo?
Hola, Guillermo.
And Eduardo, what's going on?
Hello.
So Eduardo is asking, I work at Princess. You think we're coming back this year? That is a great question. We get questions like these all the time. Nobody is going to give you a definite answer, and I'll give you a couple reasons why. Number one, it's all speculation. The best you can do is kind of pull information from different areas and come to your own conclusion. The CDC is changing their rules almost on a daily basis. Just to kind of pull something up here, so you guys can see this, let's take a look at the CDC. So this is the cdc.gov, Centers for Disease Control, and this, you can see right here that this is updated as of July 23rd, 2020, and there's a no sale order that was extended on April 15th and extended on a second time on July 16th, which is about just a week and a half ago. So things are always, things are constantly changing. That's what I mean to say.
Yeah.
So it's hard to say, like, yeah, you're going to be going back this year. Some companies aren't sailing until like February of next year, or maybe particular ships. So it's really difficult to say when cruise ships are going to hop back on.
Yeah. Have in mind that most of the clients for cruise ships are people from the United States, for the most part. So if this country is quarantined again, like, it's not gonna happen anytime soon. So at least the best advice that we can give you is try and get something else to hold you up in the meantime, and just prepare yourself to be back on ships until next year. If it comes sooner, it comes sooner, but at least mentally you're not gonna be like, oh, fudge.
Right. If your goal is to hop on cruise ships, it's like your dream, then find out what else you could be doing to prepare once cruise ships to open back up again. So for example, if it looks like cruise ships are going to start opening back up again, at least really kind of moving forward, is early next year, early to mid next year. Now, don't get me wrong, there may be some ships that start cruising before then, because maybe they're larger and they're implementing certain things like the e-muster drill.
So weird.
It's weird.
Master.
So if that's the case, then great. But I would say utilize your time now to develop your skills, develop your experience, all of the things that you need to, to prepare you for when you actually do get the job.
Also, another thing that I was talking with Daniel yesterday, well, a few days, is that, you know how he was doing the interview to going to HR on ships, he was moving up. So we were talking, and then he said, like, most probably the people who are going back to ships would be the more essential workers on ship. Like
cleaning crew.
Yeah,
you want to work on cruise ships, get some experience as a cleaning crew.
Yeah,
person.
Probably musician as well.
Yeah,
because they need entertainment. And
Food.
In terms of guest services, I think that's going to be narrowed down. I'm not sure if photographer is going to be treated like essential. I don't think so.
I would say so, but probably you're not looking at the same team.
It will be half a staff.
Yeah.
Because also ships, I think they're going to go 60% capacity, or maybe low as a 50.
Right.
But that's something to have in mind. So if you're thinking of going at a certain position, maybe research what's more needed, I guess. Like, yeah.
As soon as I walk away, you lose your train of thought.
Yeah, because you distract me.
I had to turn the fan on. It's like blazing in here. I was trying not to have the audio Anyway, Eduardo has a follow-up question. I'm a bartender. You think it's needed?
Yes, alcohol.
Yeah, on ships, alcohol is a really big revenue-generating machine. So in terms of being, you could also help if you're a flair bartender. That's also going to get you some more money.
Yeah, it would be considered kind of entertainment.
Right. So it's kind of both. You'll also make more money in terms of tips.
Yeah.
I met a flair bartender on my last contract, and I remember telling him how much I was making, which was $2,600 a month.
And he pet you like, oh boy.
No. Nobody does that to me. He was telling me that he makes about the same. I think he made more. But he was basically like, oh, yeah, we make about the same. Now, that was with tips.
Yeah.
But anyway, that would be my suggestion. So since you're a bartender and you want to take the next step up.
Yeah, have that little extra that they might not think they want, but if you have it, then that would set you apart.
Mm-hmm. And then start having the mentality of ways that you can make more money while you're on land.
Mm-hmm.
Just expand your capacity in terms of your business and your industry, because right now the cruise industry is a very fluid industry in the sense that we don't really know what's going to happen with it, where it's going. So anyway, Eduardo, I hope that answered your question. And yes, I know it's a hard truth, but at least you can use some of these some of this foresight to help you move forward productively. But let's go back to this app thing. So it says here, the technology saves a major crowding issue for the cruise lines in the COVID-19 era. Muster drills, which are very unpopular with passengers who are either unpacking or enjoying their first drinks on board, can be fairly chaotic as people fill stairways and elevators to get to their stations. Crew members often have to compete with pre-vacation excitement and passenger noise to be heard. This is 100% true, and I can tell you that one of the issues that we deal with on the cruise ship as crew, when it comes to the muster station drill, that initial drill is always really stressful, because we know that it's stressful for the passengers, because as it said, you're dealing with the pre-vacation excitement. You just got on board, and the bars are open already, so you can start drinking. Sometimes you get people who are already pretty lit by the time they get to the muster station, the drill. So now we got to deal with those people. And then you got people who are just getting really upset because they're just like, oh, I got to do this. Like, yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
This is by law. You have to be here for the entire drill. You have people who are wanting to get up and go early because they have to sit in this chair, or sometimes you can't sit. Sometimes you're just standing.
I had one where he asked me, I have to go out now because I want to see a sail away. And I told like, sir, everybody, even the captain, is in a drill. So there's no sail away if you don't sit. It's kind of like the Karen version, but on ships. You know, like how they don't want to put their mask on.
Yeah, but in this case, they don't want to
sit
down for
their own safety.
What is it, like 20, 25 minutes? If that. I think once the drill starts, it's like usually about like maybe 10 to 15 minutes.
I would say 20, 30 minutes.
15 to 20 minutes. Definitely not 30 minutes. It's not that long. I'll give it to you, because sometimes when they have to call out numbers and stuff like that. Okay. That's fair. Anyway, let's keep going. The new approach also enables everyone on board to maintain better spacing as guests move about the ship. It also allows guests to enjoy more of their vacation with no interruption, Royal Caribbean said in a release. Let's keep going here. Muster 2.0. It's such a funny name.
I still can't get over it. That it's muster, not
muster,
master.
Not master. It's muster. Muster station. It's kind of like, I guess where it comes from is like to muster, like muster up courage. That's to gather, right? So muster drill is the gathering of people. That's my guess. If you have a better answer, leave it in the comments or in the chat below. Muster 2.0 was first tested on Symphony of the Seas in January, well before the COVID-19 pandemic disrupted. Oh, Interesting. So it was
They
already
knew.
tested in January.
They knew.
Yeah, they knew. Guests who took part in, well, January, COVID was actually around. So maybe they really did know.
Yeah.
Well before the COVID pandemic. So guests who took part in the trial run indicated a strong preference for the new approach and reported better comprehension and retention of the safety information, the company said. Well, that's great.
I can see that.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. Health and safety. The health and safety of our guests and crew are our number one priority, and the development of this new muster process is an elegant solution to an outdated, unpopular process. Agreed. That was directly from Richard Fain, or a quote, rather. The fact that this will also save guests time and allow the ship to operate without pause means that we can increase health, safety, and guest satisfaction simultaneously. Better ratings.
Oh my gosh. They're still gonna get lost though.
Yeah. You mean in the case of an emergency?
Yeah.
Even though they make it really easy on the ship, if there's an emergency, like there's lights that guide you where you need to go.
Even that. Oh, did you know that? Oh, it wasn't. No, I think it was yeah, I think it was in Norwegian where they had like a pattern in the carpets. So it was like it looked like little fishies.
Oh, and they guide you?
And yeah, they guide you towards the
lifeboats?
No,
bar?
it guide you. Wait, babe. It guide you towards like what's the front of the ship and what's the back of the ship, so you always orientated.
Interesting.
And each carpet from each side was different colors. So the port side. Wait, which one is port side? This
Left.
side.
Yeah.
Yeah. Port side was blue, I think, and the what was the other one?
Starboard.
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 Starboard was red.
Lucky guess. Jinx. Now you can't talk for the rest of the podcast. Okay, I'll buy you a Coke. All right.
Yes.
Let's move on. But that's all. That is very interesting. And for those who don't know, port is left. How do you remember that? Port is 4 letters. Left is 4 letters. So there you go. Port is left. Starboard is right. Just by process of elimination. And then you have forward and aft. All right. Moving on.
Just in that same note, when you go to a ship, every ship is different, and every ship has like different little hidden things that show you where the place is and levels, like in Celebrity.
I feel like they should talk about in the muster drill. That's so helpful.
I don't know. It's stuff that as a crew member you kind of start noticing more because you live there. Like in Celebrity, each floor was a different carpet.
Okay.
And like it kind of it might vary on the patterns. I mean on the might vary on the patterns, but the colors and the tonality were the same.
So you never get confused as to which deck you're on.
At least that's how I got like through the ship, because I always got lost at the beginning until I met somebody from South Africa, and he told me, "Oh, you just go like this, and this are the colors, and here we go, and here we go."
That and
worked perfectly.
The cabins are usually numbered that way as well. If you're on deck 5, it's like 0503.
Well,
like
yeah, if you're in a cabin area, I guess, yeah, but everything looks the same.
Right, but anyway, good tip. Look out for those things if you're on the cruise ship. Anyway, Royal Caribbean has patented Mustard 2.0. I keep wanting to say mustard. I'm gonna start saying mustard. Mustard.
I keep trying to correct you.
Mustard 2.0 technology. And it will be installed on all 3 of the company's lines. Oh, okay. So Royal Caribbean International, Celebrity Cruises, and Azamara, as well as TUI, the company's German joint venture with Hapag-Lloyd. Interesting. All right. Silver Sea, the luxury line owned by Royal Caribbean Group, already has enough space for social distancing across its fleet of spacious vessels. Jesus, I can't talk right now. Spacious vessels to keep the existing safety drills. Blah, 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 blah. So they're also offering to waive patent licensing fees to other cruise line during the pandemic who want to adopt it. Oh, that's really smart. So they're
Wait, what?
So they're basically taking this technology of the Muster 2.0 and they're spreading it out to their three of their lines, companies rather, but also allowing other companies to utilize this technology.
So they're selling it.
Well, what did it say here? They are offering to waive patent and licensing fees.
Oh.
So, I mean, that doesn't necessarily mean that they're not selling it. They're just waiving the patented licensing fees. So, maybe Princess wants to use it or Carnival wants to use it. And then Royal says, all right, well, we'll let you use it. We'll put your logo on it for $150,000. Anyway.
Everything is money.
And let's see. Frank Del Rio, President and CEO of Norwegian Cruise Line, says, I'd like to extend my congratulations to Royal Caribbean Group on this innovative milestone. It's exactly what our industry needs during these unprecedented times, and we appreciate the generous offer to participate in this innovation.
Blah, 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 blah.
In this industry, we all work cooperatively to enhance health and safety, and this is an example of that. So let's see how nice they're being, because it sounds like they're trying to be collaborative and allow other companies like Norwegian and whatever to utilize this technology. But let's see if it's like a test run thing. Maybe it's only free during quarantine or the while pandemic is hot kind of thing, or maybe they get a trial version with ads for 3 months.
No, I don't think so. I think once they sell the thing, it's gonna be either they sell it or just let other people, because since they're already putting it out there, if the other company don't want to pay for it, they're gonna invest to do their own,
right.
So if they can get some money out of the other one, they will just do that. I don't think it's gonna be that. I don't think they're gonna be like
free,
shady. I don't think it's gonna be free, but I also don't think they're gonna go like, oh,
they're gonna be shady about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
you know what I mean?
This remains to be seen. We will see what happens. Large corporations like that, you never really know what they're capable of. But I'd like to have the best.
Yeah.
I'd like to give them the benefit of the doubt.
They didn't explain like what happens if the guests don't comply to doing the survey?
Well, they have to. I bet if they don't, then they'll put them. Maybe the safety captain will meet with them and make them go through some kind of training with social distancing involved.
So they probably they enter the app with a code and the stateroom number, I guess. And then whoever is looking for the data looks who logged in and who didn't, and who completed and who didn't.
Right.
Okay, so that's one way of figuring out. Yeah, that. No, I'm just saying, because I know there's gonna be like.
Right, there are loopholes, and like how are you really gonna check this?
Yeah, I'm just saying, like.
I get it.
If they don't do it, what's the repercussion? The boat is not gonna sell, or they're gonna kick out the person if they know?
Well, that's what normally happens, right? If there's somebody who's like hiding out in their cabin, if there's some. So going back to the whole requirement thing, for those of you who don't know, if you're one of those people who like, oh, I'm not going to go through the safety drill, the muster station drill, whatever, I'm just not going to do it because this is America, they will they'll find you on the ship. And if they find you and you refuse to do it, they will eject you from the ship. They will disembark you from the ship if you're not willing to do it, because it is maritime law. So security will give you the boot.
And there's a big fine for a ship, so money talks.
Money talks. All right. Let's go to the next article.
I think that's great, though.
I figured this was pretty interesting. Do cruise ships have morgues? And the answer is yes.
Yes.
Cruise ships do have morgues.
It's not the food refrigerator, though. Please leave that one alone.
Well, check out this image right here. This guy. This right here it almost looks like cremation, but it looks. I'm pretty sure that this fan right here
Keeps the thing cool.
Yeah, it keeps it cool. It sucks the heat out, or blasts cold air in. So anyway, so yes, cruise ships do have morgues. What happens if you die in a cruise ship? Do cruise ships have morgues? It's unlikely that this type of morbid thinking is top of mind. For anyone excited about upcoming cruise vacation, these are questions that pop into your head while you're in the shower or getting ready for work. How do they know me so well?
What?
Chatting over drinks with friends or lying awake in bed at night pondering the meaning of life. The short answer is yes, there are morgues on cruise ships. Mm-hmm. And while death at sea may be a bit taboo to talk about, given the advanced age of many cruisers and the sheer number of people who sail every year, tens of millions, there's bound to be a small number of passengers who die at sea, generally from natural causes. Generally.
Yeah. Also, you have to,
Oh, before you jump into that, what's up, Scott? I see you.
Hi, Scott.
I hope you guys are doing well today. I did a muster drill as a passenger last year. Really happy to hear they're switching to a virtual one. Yes. Yeah. Thank you for the insight.
You didn't like it, huh?
Yeah, muster drill for passengers, I imagine, is could just be really frustrating.
Yeah, but it's a little bit different than for a crew member, though.
Yeah, that's true.
We have to be there 5 minutes before on the first.
No, sometimes we're there half an hour before.
Yeah, it's on the first ring, right?
Yeah.
Anyways.
Yeah, it's 7 blasts on the ship's horn.
Well,
for celebrity.
Yeah. So what I was gonna say is once I was talking to I can't remember what she was on the ship, but she was telling me that she had one of those positions like HR and stuff like that. So she was telling me that most people, they choose their when they know they're about to die or they have something like that, choose to cruise for several months on cruise ships, because if they die on the cruise ship kind of gets responsibility of the funeral stuff.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Do they have to pay for it?
I think they pay certain percent of it.
Interesting. That would be a very interesting conversation to have.
We should.
If any of you have any experience with that, throw it down there in the chat or something like that, or in the comments.
Let us know.
That I never hear anybody talk about that.
Yeah, and there's in cruise ships like Celebrity, where a lot of older crowd goes. You see that a lot. I remember my first month, I was surprised, I was astonished how many people died on a cruise ship, and it was nothing, Oh, it's another one.
It's another one.
Yeah, especially for the crossing,
Oh yeah, that's a big one.
Yeah, as soon as I think we were coming from Europe here, we were in Cozumel, and somebody just had a heart attack in front of photographers and just slammed her head against the pavement and just died.
Whoa.
Yeah.
And then they put her next to the ice cream.
Ew, babe.
That's terrible. Don't joke about that. Okay, we're going to move on here. There are several considerations, mainly the ship's itinerary and the policies of the ports on it, that determine whether a body must be removed from the ship and repatriated at the next port of call, or whether it can remain on board until the ship reaches its final destination. So that kind of talks about the crossing versus if you're in the Bahamas or something where there's a port almost every day. If the latter is allowed, the body is taken to the cruise ship morgue, where it is properly stored. Good to know. Facilities are generally located on the lowest ship decks. Oh, that's great. Next to the crew.
No.
Away from passengers, as
what kind of?
Are as simple as stainless steel refrigeration rooms with individual compartments.
I think that's -2.
What?
But with on the lowest floor, so it's
cooler.
It's I-91. The I-91 usually is
95. I don't know what ship that is, the I-91.
The I-95 is usually the
It's the main corridor.
Yeah, it's deck 1.
Yeah.
And then right after that is deck 0.
Right.
And then after that is
-0.
negative 1, right?
Not really. Well, yeah, I mean, I guess it depends on the ship, but yeah.
Yeah. So maybe it's like down there with the...
There's tween deck as well. There's 1 and then like tween deck and then 0. And then you'll have multiple decks in between sometimes.
Yeah.
Depends on the ship. So when a death happens at sea, cruise lines have specifically trained crisis management teams who help the deceased person's travel companions figure out the logistics of returning the body to its home country for burial. However, the cost of this will fall on the family of the person who has died, so it's always a good idea to purchase travel insurance policy that covers repatriation. Interesting. Okay. So it's not the ship; it's the family. So you want to make sure if Grandma's taking a cruise, she's like, like she's in pretty good shape. Otherwise, she may just be looking to split while on the cruise ship. You get the point. All right. Okay. Oh, okay. And I missed a paragraph here, but it says typically the larger the ship, the more shelves the morgue will have. Don't worry, these dedicated rooms have nothing to do with food storage. So they say. Hey, what's up, Carly? She says, yeah, on the smaller ship, Caribbean Cruise Line ships, the morgue is next to the crew laundry. So, yeah, that's how you get your laundry smelling good.
Oh, no.
All right, we're going to move on. This one, I thought this was pretty interesting. This is a little bit of an older article, but the headline is, I was stranded at sea on a cruise ship. Now I'm owed $37,000. Interesting. All right. So let's go through this video. As you can see, I was watching about half of it, but we're gonna start it from the beginning so you guys can see what's up.
Put it bigger.
Oh yeah, hold on. Stop it. Okay, here we go. Full screen. The last major cruise ship at sea finally docked at the Italian port of Genoa.
Everything was great until about halfway through the trip. And that's when the port started being closed and we couldn't stop and get off the ship anymore. The virus outbreak was happening all at home while we stayed safe on the ship.
So Costa Deliciosa departed on January 5th on what was meant to be a 113-day voyage around the world. That's a long voyage.
That's great.
I've heard of some people doing that. I don't know if I could stay with the same guests that long. Now, granted, I'm sure they drop some people off along the way and pick some people up, and regardless, but I'm sure there are some people who stay the full, 3 months? More. Three and a half almost. That's pretty crazy. But anyway, so January 5th is when it took off for a 113-day voyage around the world. Let me just check the chat real quick, make sure I'm not missing anything. We're good. Let's continue. More than 50 major cruise lines temporarily suspended operations. Okay. Most ships docked within 2 weeks.
The lack of information was the hardest part, is that you were waiting to know, what are we doing? Where are we stopping? Where are we going? When are we going to be home?
Costa Deliciosa was in Australia when the crew decided to stop all shore visits and return home to Europe. It was the right choice because in the end the ship proved to be the safest place for them.
There was never any worry really about the virus getting on the ship. We had one little scare where we were in lockdown in our rooms for about a day and a half.
On the return home, the crew suspected a sick passenger, but the test came back negative. Costa Cruises said when the ship was docked April 22nd, there were 1,500 guests and 800 crew. No reports of COVID on board.
I don't know that I could ask for anything more from the cruise ship on what they did. My next cruise is in March of 2021.
I feel like it's gonna start getting...
Wait, what?
That was it?
That didn't explain anything.
Babe.
I'm sorry, guys. I thought that was going to be very interesting, and it turns out that was not. So, yeah.
This is day 8 of my Corona
There's
journal.
more.
What is
I'm
this?
on day
Oh, there's
11,
more,
day
babe.
12.
I think it's a
Welcome
collection of.
to day
It's just playing the
14 of
next
having
video. It's this one right
COVID-19
here.
and
Okay, stop
being
it.
in
Stop it.
complete
Stop
isolation.
it. Okay, get out of here. I'm not going to listen to this. I'm not even
But
going to go through this article.
But it has the same name though. It doesn't.
No, that was the next video. Anyway, I thought it was interesting because somebody was stranded on the ship, and then it was going to talk more about how much they're owed. I don't want to read the article. I'm done with this article. I want to move on.
Well then,
What, you want to look into the article and see what it's about?
Hmm.
Let's see. All right, we're going to dive into the article. I'm not patient.
just like a little quick thing.
Let's find out. We're going to find out what this is about.
Because like if she's suing for something that like it doesn't make any sense, she's not gonna get the money.
Okay, so the article here, by the way, this is from CNN.com. Whether or not you think this is fake news is up to you. But let's see. When she arrived back home after weeks of stranded at sea on board the Pacific Princess cruise ship, passenger C.J. Hayden, a San Francisco-based author and business coach, submitted a refund request right away. By her reckoning, she and her partner Dave Herninko were owed around $37,000. Wow. They weren't going to charge us for the days that we spent floating around the Italian. Oh, you know what? That's probably it, because they were on the ship and they were supposed to leave. So that's probably what the story is that they were supposed to leave for a 113-day cruise.
Mm-hmm.
COVID hit, and then
Now they can't.
they
visit
got stuck,
Yeah.
and then they had to go back home,
Okay.
and they
they-
didn't get to do their cruise,
Okay.
their big cruise.
So the company
Had to reimburse them
Okay.
$37,000.
Oh, so they did.
Yeah,
Oh,
but the
okay.
headline just makes it sound so like ominous, like, oh, I was stranded on the ship and now they owe me $37,000.
They got you, babe.
They got me. Oh, they got me.
They gotcha.
Anyway, so that's basically what happened. Lengthy delays in processing funds, it says. Widespread issue with delayed refunds.
Aw, I miss
Family photo.
Embarkation day.
So the rest of this is basically talking about how difficult it is to get the refunds back. So what I will talk about, though, is in terms of the hospitality and entertainment industry, it is really important to understand what your refund policy is, because some places are allowing insurance. For example, I bought tickets for a Hall & Oates concert for next October. So that's like a year and 2 months out or something. So that's in a while. And I had the opportunity to purchase insurance for the tickets. So just in case something happens. But I opted not to buy the insurance because I figure, well, we should be clear out of this
You should have got the
by
insurance.
then. Nah, it's not worth
I
it.
feel like every single
It's
time.
going to be an extra $9. It's way too much. Then it would have been
Every time you
$49
do
per ticket.
this, then something happens, and then you go like, "Oh, I should have bought it."
Well, I didn't buy it this time.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
That's what I'm saying. Okay, so let's move on. So that talked about refunds and stuff like that. We talked about morgues. This one's pretty interesting, though. This one's from marker.medium.com, and it says why investors are still betting on Carnival Cruise Line. So this may be good for you, Carly, because I know that you're a dancer singer on Carnival Cruise Line. If you guys haven't checked out that episode, check out the episode. But let's see what this has to say. This is good because I get my reading out of the way. I don't really read very often. You could probably tell I don't read very often, but anyway. Carnival Cruise Line has a new ship on the way, and it's a doozy. The Carnival Mardi Gras is a 180,000-ton, 18-deck marvel accommodating 6,600 passengers and boasting, among other amenities, what is billed as the world's first at-sea roller coaster. Based in Florida's Port Canaveral, It is intended to sail Caribbean itineraries and is packed with brand new experiences for eating, drinking, and spectacularly getting down to fun. Interesting. That's an interesting way to put it. Okay. The company says, including a new Emeril Lagasse restaurant. Bam!
What's that?
You remember Emeril? Emeril Lagasse? He was that chef who was a little on the chunkier side, and he would go on the talk shows, and he'd be like, bam, bam, bam. No? Anybody? Just me? All right. Maybe it's just me. 2 bars and an 800 capacity performance space. Okay. To enjoy acrobats and musicians.
That's like the theater, right?
Basically, yeah. Unless it's a specific different space.
Maybe they do something outside.
It sounds to me like it's a circus.
Yeah, right?
It kind of sounds like a circus. You got roller coasters, you got acrobats.
Well, oops, sorry. Like Carnival Mardi Gras theme, so
well, that makes sense.
I can already see the decorations and the
beads
ship.
everywhere.
Purple and green.
Yeah. In all, the Mardi Gras, among the biggest and likely most expensive cruise ships in the world, is truly a jaw-dropping monument to humanity's determination to create and prize-engineered leisure that brazenly defies logic of nature. Yeah.
They say the same thing about Titanic, and look where that headed.
I feel like they say the same thing about every new ship that comes out. It's the best thing ever, and this, and that, and blah, blah, blah,
and then we're gonna do cruise ships on space. Space
cruises. Any investors out there? That's where the moneymaker is. Space cruise.
Go to Mars.
Put down in the chat. Would you be down for a space cruise? Let's go to Mars on a cruise. Would you work as crew on a spaceship that's going to Mars? How long would it take to go to Mars? Probably take like 3 years.
Forever. But I would definitely go.
If you guys would be interested in a space cruise, let me know. I'm curious to know your thoughts on that. All right, so going back to the article, let's check the chat real quick. Oh, what's up? PM Wizard 48. Is there something in your contract on the cruise ship that guarantees you to get paid a portion of the money owed if the cruise is canceled? If the cruise is canceled, you still get paid because they can't just send you home. If you're on the ship, you're getting paid. Yeah. Even the people who were quarantined for those 3 months and they couldn't leave the ship, they were still getting paid. Yeah. There's actually an entire podcast with a friend of hers, also a friend of mine, Daniel, who was also working on Carnival, and he was on the ship for those 3 months, just quarantined, couldn't really do much, and it was one of those like double-edged sword situations where you would kind of think that if you're quarantined on a cruise ship and you're kind of just there and you don't have your regular daily duties, like, oh, this is the best thing ever. I still get my full pay without daily duties, but then it really just turns into a... Oh.
No, yeah, I think they made you work on something else.
Well, he was saying he only worked like 4 hours a day. You remember?
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Well, did he get his full... Now I have to...
He got his full pay.
Oh.
Yeah. He struggled to figure out things to do on the ship. And that's why we were making the joke that he was finally living the life of a musician.
That's right. That's right.
Guillermo says, yee! Looks like he would work on a spaceship.
Yes.
Cam says, I would if the safety procedures are well thought up. Well, don't be on the first one then. Because I'm sure there's going to be a lot of things that happen. And Daily Jeeper, what up, man? Would totally work on a spaceship. Yeah, imagine being security on a spaceship with like a space gun and a space taser.
That would be so cool, though. I think the uniform will be much cooler too.
It would. I feel like it would go either way. It'd either be really cool
or really
stupid.
Like latex pants and stuff, like very plasticky.
Yeah, they would pull all their inspiration from The Matrix.
No,
and
like
Wall-E.
that Disney movie, Xenon.
I didn't.
21st Century.
Maybe some of you get that reference. I guess I'm too old for that.
Anyways, yeah.
All right, let's go back to the article here. Carnival has not disclosed its cost, but reports say the most elaborate cruise ships can cost $1 billion, quadruple the price of a Boeing 747 that's in the league of that's in the league of the cost of building an ambitious skyscraper. So, it's an expensive ship is basically all it's saying. It is also, of course, not sailing anytime soon. Of course. Originally scheduled for November 2020, the Mardi Gras' first voyage has been pushed to February of next year, at the earliest. The postponement has been blamed on construction delays attributed to the coronavirus pandemic, which continues to rewrite the best-laid plans of the tourism industry in general, and the cruise ship business in particular. Cruise lines.
I feel like they're gonna postpone it towards later on 2021.
Well, if people don't start wearing masks, it will be.
Yeah. Well, still, I'm saying because they're having delay on construction, and by the time they catch up on construction, I don't know. I'm just saying, but yeah.
I'm sure they've thought of that, but
wear masks, please.
Yeah.
Like I'm done being here.
You're affecting my right to cruise on ships. Let me cruise.
Okay, Karen.
Let's see. I'm going to skip this whole... No, should I skip this? No, this looks interesting. Cruise lines were among the earliest businesses to be walloped. I didn't even know that was a word. By the pandemic. The Carnival-owned Diamond Princess suffered a notorious outbreak that infected hundreds and killed more than a dozen, and became a symbol of nightmarish cruise ship contagion scenarios when it was quarantined for a month. That whole sentence just sounded scary.
Yeah, but...
and it says there's been no relief since. On July 16th, the CDC extended a no-sail order. Yeah, we just looked at that.
Yeah.
Suspending cruise operations until September 30th, and went out of its way to criticize the industry for practices that spread the virus, resulting in an alarming 99 virus outbreaks on 123 ships, involving nearly 3,000 passengers and 34 deaths. By the company's own estimate, it will continue to burn $650 million a month, while its 100-plus ship fleet remains largely idle. And so this is probably why they're scrapping a lot of ships, because it costs money.
Yeah, they need to maintain it. Do you know how much they paid on each port? Because I forgot.
I remember hearing it. The numbers can vary, but I remember some ports can be like 15,000 or 50,000 in terms of a fine. This is why you got to get back to the ship on time.
Yeah, because they don't want to.
And I'm sure Jeeper, my boy, I'm sure you can provide some insight on this, because usually you leave after the guests, but then you
come back before.
You come back like at least an hour before the all aboard time, and if you're late, then you have to meet with the staff captain, which I did one time. That sucked. I mean, it was a slap on the wrist. Like, he didn't like yell at us or anything like that, but the reason he told us that one of the reasons why you have to be back on time is because if they don't have all of the guests and they got to look for them and this and that, costs the ship money, but there's also a fine in the port, because that's a big ship that's parked.
Yeah.
In the port.
Yeah, I guess my question was like, how much do they actually pay for that amount of time of being allowed to be in the port?
Right.
I guess
they're like renting that space.
Exactly. That's my question.
Right.
Because if the fine is like what, 50?
I don't know. That's I mean, that's just a guess.
I guess we'll find
I don't want
out.
people to start thinking it's $50,000 for every single port they go to. It could just be the fine, but there's money involved. I know that. Jeff, what's up, my man? He says, I would absolutely work on a spaceship. Maybe they could set me up outside. No sound in space. I'd never practiced. Nobody could ever tell. Yeah. It would literally sound like this.
Yeah, you can just act cool.
Yeah, that's right.
And put like very flashy jacket and stuff and just go like.
Yeah, you just look cool in your latex jacket.
Just rock it out.
That's right.
And start like singing insults.
As the virus continues to spread in the U.S. and elsewhere, more international travel restrictions are kicking in. The Bahamas, for example, just banned U.S. tourists. That's nice. Meanwhile, Carnival and its rivals are stuck with sunk costs and commitments involved in new ships planned in a pre-pandemic world, like the Mardi Gras. Carnival has not disclosed its costs. Okay. The ships have steadily been getting bigger. We saw that one already. Given this, it's perfectly fair to ponder the future of the Mardi Gras and Carnival and its cruise ship peers as the whole idea of the cruise ship industry with skepticism. So, Carnival and the cruise ship industry generally are unlikely to get government help, like some airlines for instance. So, they're probably not going to get government help because they operate under corporate structures involving registration abroad in Liberia in Carnival's case. That's interesting. So a lot of these like little nuggets in this article. To minimize tax obligations, making anything resembling a bailout politically toxic.
Yeah, you see?
Oh.
The glove hit the face right now.
That's interesting. So it seems to me that what it's saying is that they're likely not to receive a government bailout in these times because they've registered ships in different countries. For example, Carnival has registrations, has registered ships in like Liberia. I know Celebrity has registered ships in Malta.
Mm-hmm.
So if they're bailing out these companies with these ships that are tied to other countries, that may not look good.
Yeah.
Huh. I never thought about it that way.
Not also look good, but like the ships are doing like what they're doing is trying to, scam, not scam, but save some here so they can pull more money.
Mm-hmm.
But now, that's why I say like the glove hit their face right now, because like they can't benefit from
from registering in a different place.
Yeah,
you should have paid more money, registered in the USA, and then we got your bailout.
Yeah,
At least speculation. That's what I'm seeing. All right, Carnival reported a $4 billion quarterly loss. That's the largest ever for the company, which was founded in 1972 with a single ship, the original Mardi Gras. So yeah, the first ship was named Mardi Gras, and now they're making a brand new ship called Mardi Gras.
Mardi Gras 2.
Yeah, and is credited with helping make cruising more broadly affordable. By the company's own estimate, it will continue to burn $650 million a month. Right now, if you were to look at the company's marketing mock-ups promising thousands of fun-seeking Mardi Gras passengers various forms of close quarters revelry, you might conclude that's never going to happen. No, that makes sense. You might even wonder, quite rationally, how the cruise industry can continue to exist at all. That's interesting. So, it says here, perhaps most strikingly, Carnival and its major rivals have reported that a substantial percentage of cruise customers remain optimistic about setting sail again in the year ahead. It reminds me of that conversation I was having with Lacey a couple weeks ago. Had her on the podcast. You should definitely check it out. That she was saying that she actually picked up some stocks. And her reasoning was, well, what the heck do you think is going to happen once everything returns back to normal?
Yeah.
So I do agree with that in one sense, that at least for the companies that do end up making it out of this, people are just going to want to cruise again.
Yeah, they're going to explode too. Because people are going to be going from, I can't do this, towards like, I'm going. So they're gonna splurge and they're gonna do everything big. Maybe we should invest in stocks.
We'll see. I'm watching it like a hawk. I'm also watching Tesla.
Yeah, but like if it starts growing, then it'll be too expensive to buy.
Not necessarily.
Okay.
Okay, let's see. Let's check the chat real quick. Who we got in here? Let's see. Daily Jeeper giving dropping some knowledge nuggets. Yep, the ship starts getting fined after a certain point. Not only that, but when the ship gets closer to departing and they turn on more engines that burn more fuel in preparation for when the ship gets closer to departing, they turn on more engines. Oh, I see. So they start turning engines on, but they don't turn them all on yet. So they start slowly getting things going. They're not going to turn on all of the engines all at the same time just to leave. But as they go, they turn on more engines.
Yeah, I've noticed that. Yeah. I noticed.
Well, that's because usually our cabins are right next to the frickin' engines. So usually in your cabin, it's like.
Yeah. Well, have you noticed? Have you ever been on a ship when they completely turn everything out?
No.
That's freaking scary. There's absolutely no noise, and that's like that told me that the whole ship, you get used to that noise. And then when they shut everything out, it's like even like a little bzzz goes into your ear of complete silence.
No, that makes sense. That's kind of like people who can't sleep without the TV on. Yeah, it's like one of those things. Like we sleep with the fan on all the time, and now if I sleep with the fan off, even if it's cold, I gotta have the fan pointing somewhere else because that like just constant buzz. And we've recently started playing this YouTube channel when we go to sleep. It's like 8 hours, 10 hours of rainfall. If you have trouble going to sleep,
24/7.
It's 24/7 apparently. Try it. It's great if you like the rain. So yeah, thank you, Jeeper, for that. Joshua Radford Lighting, he asks, do you think companies should renovate end-of-life cruise ships and turn them into static hotels and sell them? Oh, that's an interesting question.
Idea,
yeah, I mean, well, they do that with some ships. I think it kind of depends on the what am I trying to say here? The
port?
No, like okay, so basically what I'm talking about is Queen Mary. Queen Mary is one of the ships. It's like it was a real ship, and then they just permanently stuck it, there, and now you can go in there, and I believe it's a hotel.
Yeah, and they host really good Halloween parties. So I've been told, because I've yet to go there, and I guess I'm not even going this year anyways.
No, you're definitely not going this year.
But I think that's a great idea, though.
Halloween is probably the best time to go outside and have parties because everyone's going to be wearing a mask. But now because I said that, nobody's going to wear a mask. So that would be that's my essential answer, Josh, is that well, okay, that wasn't even an answer. That was just a thought. Sorry. I haven't even completed my thought. But I guess my answer to your question is, do you think they should do that? It kind of depends, because right now I think that the biggest thing that companies have to think about is cash flow. And, if companies are hemorrhaging $650 million per month because of the ships they have, if they were to take a ship and then turn it into a hotel or a restaurant or whatever, right now those are not generating any, if much, revenue.
Right.
So if they were to do that, it would just be repurposing it for a later purpose.
I think it would only work if they do the port side. If they use the open part where the pool is and everything is.
Oh, like open.
Because that's decks. A fair area, that's a big area. But I guess that's.
Well, that would be
true.
The only place they could use, because it's technically outside.
They can use it as a hotel, though.
Yeah.
Because hotels are open.
That's true. But the challenge with cruise ships is that they're so the close quarter issue is still always going to be there. You don't have 6 feet between you when you're walking by someone in a hallway. You know what I mean? It's barely, well, I don't know. Anyway, my main answer is no, I don't think they should do that right now. Specifically right now, because if they are going to scrap a ship or get rid of it, sell it to somebody else, I feel like the main reason is because of cash flow.
Yeah.
So
I actually think they should do it.
You think they should repurpose?
Yeah.
Well, let me rephrase. Well, let me double back and also say that if they can get away with the cash flow and hang on, and maybe they just don't really need to have 13 ships out there, they can do with 12, but they can also deal with this ship not quite making very much money. It would just be an investment for later.
Yeah. I mean, might as well have it making some money.
What I will say, what would be kind of cool is if they started just taking these scrapped cruise ships and they started putting them as hotels, but on land.
Ooh.
Imagine going to like the middle of Arizona
And having a big ass cruise ship like
Yeah.
just in the desert. That would be a cool picture.
Just a big cruise ship in the desert. I'd stay there. And I feel like a lot of people would spend money to stay in a cruise ship in the desert.
You have to work out the plumbing though.
They're just holes in the desert. You got to go.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right.
That's not. No, we don't do that. It's not good for the environment. Okay, moving on. Jeff is saying that yes, he needs a box fan, and he's got you. You have tinnitus, and that's what you get for standing beside a crash cymbal playing with your noisy drummer. Yes, that's why you got to wear earplugs, my man. Think about your ears.
What? What's that?
He's got the ringing in his ears because for a lot of musicians when they play, and you're next to like a loud amp or next to the drums and you have loudness in your ears. For those of you who don't know what tinnitus is you have little tiny hairs in your ear that block some sound, but also they're there to like block dirt and debris. It's also what collects your earwax, stuff like that. Eventually what happens is when you hear high level sound pressure levels in your ears, those hairs flatten down. And then your ears constantly hear frequencies. So you then hear ringing in your ears constantly. So for people like Jeff, what happens is he has to drown that out with something else.
That's why you have like the little sticky thingies?
Yes, that's why I use earplugs. And that's why you remember when we first met, I was constantly telling you like protect your ears, put these earplugs in your ears.
Yeah, I always thought you were like just being super
overprotective.
Yeah.
Not me. Okay, Mr. Paul says, should I study something in college, or could I go directly to working on working on a cruise ship after school? Oh, that's a great question. So
what do you want to study?
Well, it seems like he's talking about music. If
okay.
you want to follow up with that on some specifics, Paul, let me know. But I'm going to just dive right into your answer here. I've actually talked about this in a previous highlight. Talking about school and degrees. I think it was yesterday I uploaded a video on it. But just to kind of recap, no, you can go straight to working on cruise ships. The main thing about working on cruise ships, especially as an entertainer or a musician, is that you have to, number one, obviously understand how to play your instrument and be able to perform, right? So you have your musicianship, you have your performance skills and etiquette, I guess I want to call it, and you also have your entertainment skills. So I feel like it's those three aspects. The musicianship aspect is generally the one that's on the bottom, actually. If you're able to entertain, you can be a very mediocre musician. It's kind of like being one of those like whatever looking dudes who can also pull all the chicks because he just knows how to talk to them. So if you know how to talk to your crowd and you know how and you understand what they're interested in, like you're in a really good place. And then if you can just mix in the music part, if you also happen to be really good at playing music, then that's great. You're saying that I'm interested in languages, but I don't know if I should spend 4 years for that. Oh, okay, gotcha. Oh, so I guess the question here is you're also saying that. So I guess what he's saying is, she's back by the way, is should I go to college in general and study language, or should I work on cruise ships? That I cannot and will not give you advice on because I don't know enough about you. So I don't want to give you a tip that's like, don't go to college, just work on cruise ships. Bye.
I would say go and get language degree, like learn several languages, right? That's the thing. That's
studying language. But regardless, I think...
But yeah, like studying language as learning like, well, Italiano, or just learning like kind of like history or something. Well, anyways, if it's learning different languages, definitely do that because that would give you a higher position not only on ships, but in any other job that you would want to apply. You know, you can even get a job like in Switzerland or something like that, or in Germany. So like always learning language, that's the best move anybody can do. And especially in this circumstances where you can be remotely
work remotely,
yeah. You know, and be like a translator for a hospital or a lawyer's office or whatever.
He said he's just learning French, Russian, and Mandarin. Mandarin's a
Ooh,
great language.
Perfect.
What I guess we'll back up for a second, and then we'll jump back into the into that article we were talking about. But I think the more important thing here, because this is more kind of like a life question. You know, should I go to college and study, you know, learning these languages, or should I work on cruise ships? You have to evaluate why you want to work on cruise ships, right? If you want to work on cruise ships because you want to travel, right? Maybe that's like your underlying reason. Well, learning those 3 languages and becoming like a diplomat or a translator, interpreter kind of thing, that can get you to travel as well. You know, and you also have to think of what the long-term rewards are going to be, right? So working on a cruise ship, for a lot of people, it's very short term. They go on the cruise ship and some just do 1 contract, some do 6 or 7, some are, you know, lifers, where they've been on ships for like 15 years and they're never going to go away, but they keep saying 1 more contract. So you just have to evaluate what you really want out of working on cruise ships. If that's the thing, go to college and study these 3 languages or work on cruise ships. Maybe what's for you is if you're really on the fence about it, I would say then apply to work on cruise ships, and maybe you'll get there next year.
Try it out
and see if that's the kind of life that's worth it for you. There are also some situations where you could go work on cruise ships during your summer break.
Yeah. Also, you can study online and still be on cruise ship, but it would suck.
But it is possible.
Yeah, I've seen that before, where people are actually studying on cruise ship, but the wallet won't be happy.
Right. PM Wizard, thank you for stopping by. Really appreciate you, man. But yeah, absolutely. Lex got his degree while he was on the ship. It was really tough.
I was actually referring to Lex.
And it's happened. All right. So let's see. We're going to jump back into this one here. Let's see what else this thing has to say. There are several more things here. I kind of want to just jump to the end and find out what else is going on. Investment banking firm Stifel essentially pitched the idea that the pandemic could end up being a long-term plus for the cruise business.
Interesting.
Maybe I will pick up some cruise line stock.
I mean,
counterintuitive as it sounds, it's likely that when cruise lines are allowed to operate, they will probably have customers. Well, yeah, definitely.
I think they already do.
Well, yeah, they're already selling cruise line cruises for next year.
Yeah.
Anyway, while it's still not clear how long it might be until they can prove they can operate safely, analysts say it's likely to be next year. Yes. Okay, even then, the expectation is that cruises will return gradually, maybe even starting with cruises to private islands, perhaps reducing the number of passengers will be exposed to, as well as potential travel restrictions. Various cruise lines own several islands outright. Yes, this is true, like Labadee. Well, I mean, I don't know if they own the island, but at least that section.
Yeah, it's kind of like a resort.
Right. One bullish forecast suggests perhaps half of current cruise fleets will be back in service by mid-2021. Cruise optimists betting that businesses can tread water until then. Carnival CEO Donald has said that right-sizing our shoreside operations. I don't know what does that mean. has already helped right-sizing our shoreside operations.
Right.
Basically just making sure that they're the right size. So I guess laying people off has slashed operating costs by over $7 billion a year and lowered capital expenses by $5 billion over the next 18 months.
Oh man, that's a lot of people.
Yeah. Assuming that's what that means.
Or just from shoreside.
Carnival has announced it would sell off 13 of its current 104 ships. These would generally be sold to smaller, more regional cruise lines. Older ships may be sold to scrapping operations. We know that already. This argument was echoed in a recent research note from investment banking firm Stifel. We read that one already. Let's see. No, we aren't crazy or suffering from some sort of home lockdown psychological disorder, the note clarified from Stifel. In short, there's a future. There's a future in which something like Mardi Gras actually makes sense again. A future in which, say, a vaccine makes widespread travel and close proximity to other people something that the public is comfortable with again.
Ooh.
Yeah,
So
good luck.
remember what you told me, that the vaccine only would make sense is if everybody takes the vaccine? I think being on cruise ship must be required
To have the vaccine?
Vaccinated. Yeah.
Interesting. I don't know that they can require that.
Well, if they want to, why not?
I
feel like people
saying.
here are too babies.
Yeah.
It's just, you can't go on the ship if you're not vaccinated.
Yeah, did you get the vaccine? I would make it mandatory.
And more people are gonna do that because they want to cruise and leave.
That's right.
The peasant life.
Pleasant life, I think.
No, they want to leave the peasant life.
Oh, leave the peasant life.
Mm.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. And then I see you, Jeeper. He's saying he wears noise canceling earplugs while in the DJ clubs on board. Smart man. Smart man.
Okay, fine. I'm gonna start wearing them.
Mm-hmm. Okay, let's see. In short, there's a future. We read that one already, but it's going to take time to get there. So, and on the way to that destination, things are going to get so bad for this industry that Carnival and its rivals are forced to deal with financial issues, cost structure, aging fleet, so on and so forth, that have weighed them down for years. It's not such an outlandish argument, really, or at least it's no more outlandish than building a floating roller coaster, which Carnival has, for better or worse, already proven that can be done. So, anyway, so there are arguments for. There are a lot of cruise ship optimists out there who believe that things are going to get better, and I suppose I'm one of them. I definitely think that things are going to get better, and there are a lot of companies who are going to pull through. But it's the companies that, again, have the cash flow and do strategic financial maneuvering that allow them to get to the end line. So it's a marathon at this point. So it's all about how you manage your funds, and it's going to suck for a lot of employees because in order to manage the funds, you got to look at where you're spending the money.
Yeah.
So, and then even once they let the people back on, as we talked about earlier, they got to get the essential crew on first.
Yeah.
And limit the capacity.
Yeah, I was trying to think like what means essential crew in a ship, and because it kind of feels like everything is essential. So.
Well, activities is I feel like that's going to be kind of die down a little bit. But then again, yeah, I guess you're right. Everything could be considered
essential. Yeah, because
essential.
everything has a purpose. So maybe what they're going to do is just, instead of a team of 10, it'll be a team of 5.
Is the art gallery essential?
I don't think that is essential,
though. Sorry, art gallery.
Yeah. I guess they'll try and get some, instead of like the team of, well, yeah, I just said it.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's that essential.
And Carly is adding her little 2 cents in there. I'm sure it'll be another vaccine requirement for crew for sure. Yes, absolutely. In terms of crew, that's a great point, Carly, that they're going to make crew require the vaccines because, for example, on medical, they make you have they require you to have certain vaccines like yellow fever, polio, rubella, or whatever. I can't remember all of them.
Those hurt. Yeah, basically those are the ones.
Yeah, all of the main
flu.
ones. Measles.
Yeah.
Well, you're not required the flu vaccine, but they do check to see if you have it. And then on the ship, do they make you take the flu vaccine? They made you take it?
Yeah, I like they took.
But it's not mandatory on the ship, so I guess maybe they make you take it before.
Yeah, for when I do the medicals, those are part of the thing.
Got it.
And then you have like a year after they put the vaccine on the ship for whoever has like haven't had it. and then they can take it on the
But that's
ship.
weird that they make you get the flu vaccine before you go on the ship, but then when you're on the ship, it's kind of like semi-optional. If you don't take the vaccine on the ship, then it's one of those things where they try to scare you and say that they're going to quarantine you if you don't take it.
Without pay, but...
Right, because you chose not to get the vaccine. Anyway, regardless, I definitely think that it's a good idea for the cruise ships to make crew get the vaccine if they're walking onto the ship. Because, regardless of what your thoughts are on vaccines. Anyway, that wraps up this episode. I hope you guys learned some stuff, and I hope that you guys enjoyed this episode. We had fun. Hope you guys had fun. If you found any value in this episode, make sure you gently tap that like button and subscribe. Just stroke that subscribe button and gently touch the bell button for notifications so you know whenever we post new episodes. And make sure you follow the podcast up here. Look up there. And if you have any questions, I know sometimes you guys have questions when we're not live. What you want to do is go on to our Shiplife TV Instagram. DM us there, and we'll have some answers for you. And if we can't get the answers for you, then it either means we don't know, and we're okay with saying that we don't know, or that means we'll try to find out for you. But anyway, Cam, thank you. Thank you.
What happened?
Cam says, thank you for an amazing podcast. Thank you for being
Aw,
here. Anyway,
you're
we will see you guys in the next episode. Thank you for being part of the show that's dedicated to raising awareness of the opportunity of working on cruise ships and helping new and existing crew have an enjoyable experience.